Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
You know, I feel like he's showing that it's not about him. It's about bringing people together and bringing people closer to God.
Kanye wows Wyoming with one of his Sunday services. This took place yesterday. Coming up, what people were there and what they thought of the performance.
And find out why local law enforcement was called to a fuel storage facility off West Griffin Drive in Bozeman last evening. Coming up, special concerns about local officials had about this incident.
Good morning to you. Coming up on 6:30 here on your Monday morning, I'm Missy O'Malley with Chet Lehman. Matt Elwell has our first day of fall forecast here in just a moment. And it was kind of a surprise when the staff at Buffalo Bill Center in west of Cody, Wyoming, heard that Kanye West wanted to rent out the powwow garden.
Kanye and his wife, Kim Kardashian, brought a sizable ranch near Cody earlier this month.
And MTN's Mitch Legge went down to see what the 21-time Grammy-nominated artist does with these free Sunday services.
I'm standing outside the Powwow Garden here in Cody, Wyoming, where just a few hours ago, thousands of people turned out from as far away as Washington and Utah to see Kanye West and his 80-person choral group perform what he has been calling a Sunday service. People got treated to some gospel renditions of some of West's hits, including Father Stretch My Hands and Lost in the World. Take a listen. Kanye, his choir, and band played around 14 songs for about an hour. People gathered on the berm of the garden to take it all in. The service is something a bit different from what the people in Cody are used to.
It was really cool for them to get a taste of something different, you know, from a different place, something that's not necessarily quintessential Old West or Wyoming. And I think people were very surprised and very, very uplifted by the performance.
Kanye yielded the stage to his choir director for the majority of the service. Midway through the performance, the director mentioned how the group wants to share the love of Christ through music.
I mean, I think it really shows what he's trying to do. You know, I feel like he's showing that it's not about him. It's about bringing people together and bringing people closer to God.
Featherston got on the road with his friends at 2 a.m. to make it to Cody from the Salt Lake City area.
I mean, I'd seen like videos online and everything like that, so I kind of knew a little bit of what was going to happen, but honestly, it exceeded all expectations.
After the service, things in Cody largely returned to normal after people left the Powwow Garden. In Cody, Wyoming, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
I gotta say, that is pretty awesome. I was seeing it all over Instagram yesterday, and quite a few people from the Bozeman area came down, brought their kids, said the weather was perfect.
Yeah, it looked
for
great.
the last
The
day of
weather looked
summer.
good.
I mean,
For
that's
sure.
pretty cool. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
All right, moving on. Temperatures this morning, not bad. You look across the state, we've got some 50s out there in a few areas. A little closer in, 28 this morning in West Yellowstone, 42 in Belgrade, 43 in Butte. A couple of passing showers early this morning, a little closer to Lincoln for the early part of the day. Temperatures should warm up, but the wind's going to pick up as well. Still windy as you head into the evening. We do have a little change in the weather pattern that could include a little snow by the weekend. We'll, of course, talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that, Matt. Coming up on 6:33, our top story for you now. First responders were called when a man was spotted on top of a fuel storage tank at a Story Distributing off of West Griffin yesterday.
Yeah, Gallagher County Sheriff's Office said the man was in an unstable frame of mind early Sunday evening when they found him. First responders were able to use negotiation techniques to get the man down from the tank. He was then restrained and sent to Bozeman Health for an evaluation. Gallatin
County Sheriff's Office says nobody was injured and there was no damage done to the facility, but the hazardous materials on the scene gave first responders serious concern. Bozeman Police and Fire Departments were also on that scene. The man is currently in custody but has not been yet charged with the crime.
6:33 now. 2 suspects are in custody in connection with stolen vehicles and may be involved with a major burglary that happened Friday night as students at Columbus High School played football.
MTN's Mitch Legge has that story.
People in Columbus feel violated after several of the football team members' keys, wallets, phones, and even 2 cars were stolen from inside the high school locker room last night after a football game.
It's just unfortunate it has to happen in the school setting when these kids are out there playing, and someone to take advantage of these kids is just very disheartening.
The vehicles stolen were a black BMW and an Audi A6, and it wasn't long before they were spotted again.
Both of the vehicles were spotted in Park City about 9:20 last night, and we were able to confirm that with video at the Park City Zip Trip.
They made purchases with a stolen credit card at the Zip Trip gas station. From there, authorities say the Audi traveled 142 miles west to Forsyth. The suspects crashed the car and fled from police. After a short foot pursuit, Rosebud County sheriffs apprehended Dalton Hilliard and Grant Russell. Hilliard has been booked into the Rosebud County Detention Center under charges of motor vehicle theft, criminal trespass to property, obstructing and eluding a peace officer, and driving with a suspended license. As for Russell, he was booked with charges of motor vehicle theft, criminal trespass of property, and obstruction of a peace officer. Members of the Columbus Police Department are now headed up to Forsyth to check out what stolen property may be in the Audi. Until then, the search continues for the other missing vehicle. In Columbus, Mitch Laggy, back to you.
And of course, contact the police if you have any information about this case. That is
Crazy
just a shame.
story.
Yeah,
Absolutely
that's
crazy
just
story.
awful.
6:35 now. September is National Recovery Month across the United States.
MTN's Gabby Crevitt reports on local efforts to combat addiction.
Paul Churchill was blacking out around 5 days a week when he was in his early 20s.
I found that alcohol was leading me down a pathway that I didn't want to go down.
Now he's 5 years sober.
I had to learn firsthand of how to quit drinking and what addiction entails.
Today, Paul is dedicated to helping those struggling with alcoholism and substance abuse. And while he lives in Bozeman, his words of encouragement are reaching people around the world.
And yeah, I want to talk to you guys about some concepts in early sobriety.
He hosts the podcast Recovery Elevator, which has thousands of listeners and its own community.
This is a collaborative healing effort. It takes everyone involved to move forward in life without alcohol, without drugs, without opiates.
He also just wrote a book that has a curse word in the title that we can't say on air.
The podcast, the book, is all about what I've learned on this journey of how to depart from alcohol. But what I've learned that alcohol is kind of just the beginning. It's all about going internal and looking about, what alcohol was perhaps covering up.
According to the Montana Department of Justice, 1 in every 10 residents in Gallatin County is dependent or actively abusing alcohol or drugs. The Fellowship Hall in Bozeman houses programs aimed at preventing and treating different kinds of addiction.
We have this permanent resource in the Gallatin Valley for people who are struggling with addiction. So there's always a place to go 365 days a year for anybody who might be needing that resource or might be feeling really isolated and feeling like they want to try a life in recovery.
Fellowship Hall in Bozeman opens its doors to anybody interested in removing addiction from their life. There are 50 meetings that take place every week and around 900 visitors that stop by, all working towards a similar goal.
There is a sobriety community hundreds deep in Bozeman. Hundreds and hundreds of people have successfully departed from alcohol or other addictions. And the Fellowship Hall is a hub where this healing can take place.
In Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Gabby tells us Fellowship Hall has been providing a space to help people fight addiction since 2011. It is one of the places for support, and of course you can visit our website to learn more about those meetings or how to make a donation.
6:37 now. This week under the big sky, the husband and wife team at La Chatelaine Chocolate Company in Bozeman.
Pretty good. Savor that flavor for a moment. Now the two of us take us into their kitchen and share how they make their creative chocolate creations.
Under the Big Sky is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Vein Clinic and Markovich Real Estate.
Ganache is simply an emulsification of cream, chocolate, and butter. That's all it is. But you have to bring it together again at the right temperature for it to have that toothsome quality. Like when you bite into the chocolate, you want to see your teeth marks.
Some flavors will conflict with chocolate. The big thing is to find the right chocolate. Percent of the cocoa in the chocolate. Most of our chocolate that we use in our ganache are 70 to 74%. But we have some that we use a 61%, for example, because it's just chocolate is too strong and it competes too much with the flavor. So we have to tone it down. There'll be some chocolate that you take both in your mouth and you want to spit out instantly. It's so disgusting. And then after that, a handful of tries. The one that, it worked. It was just pairing perfect.
We are very picky on the manufacturers we use of chocolate.
We get mostly French chocolate. We have some Swiss chocolate, Italian chocolate, but it's mainly French. For the other side ingredients, we try to keep it as much local as possible. Herbs or different fruits. We order organic cream. It's special order every week. I'm always checking that the finished product is impeccable. I always taste the chocolate every day. That's not difficult. I'm a chocoholic for sure. We've been growing every year, but we've always been very clear on one thing, is that no matter how we grow, the quality of our product will never change. We have to be always mindful that no matter what, the quality will be the same.
Excuse me while I'm just absolutely salivating. Thank goodness I don't work there. I would be eating. He said he's tasting it every day. You can watch more of the Chatelaine story online at underthebigsky.com. They really do have such a neat story,
yeah.
such a cool shop.
Yep.
Every single one that I've had. I've never had a bad piece of chocolate there. It is time for a quick break. Coming up, bad breath. It can happen to anyone. How to avoid it when Montana This Morning returns.
But first, we're going to check in with the minty fresh Gail King.
Yes.
We'll find out what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, an in-depth look at medical pricing in the healthcare system. In our new series, we call it Medical Price Roulette, how you can fight surprising high-cost bills. Plus, Oprah is in Studio 57. She's revealing her new book club selection. I hear it's very good and that it made her cry. That's what I heard. We'll see you at 7 o'clock.